Hi, I'm John with Saddle Point Systems, and today we're going to show you how to properly change and thread new lamination into the ALM Automatic Laminators. This is very important to do this right because we found that almost all the problems with this machine result from improper feeding. Now this whole process is done with the machine left on. First thing we're going to do is open it up, which is done very easily. And you're going to notice our top roll is almost empty. We're going to go ahead and change these rolls out for a thicker film. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and move this lever to the open position. And what this does is it opens up the heat shoes and the lamination rollers. On the newer model, just the heated lamination rollers. And that allows us to pull the lamination out. We're going to go ahead and pull on this lamination a little bit so I can cut it. And then pull it out of the machine, as you can see here. Cut this bottom section. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove all the tension on these screws. There are two for the top roll, two for the bottom roll, and you want to make sure that these screws are backed out all the way so that this plastic bit can open. Once this is out, pull out the lamination roll, set it aside. Same thing on the bottom. You're going to notice that this lower film rolls around that bar. We'll cover that later. Set your old film aside. Take your new rolls or replacement rolls. And you're going to notice that one end of this roll is taped black. You're also going to notice that one end of the receivers have a black sticker on them. Black goes with black. And we grab the other roll, and black goes with black. And this just makes sure that you don't put in the roll upside down. So now we're going to go ahead and move to the back of the machine for a moment. And this is a very important step. Lift up this rear flap here, and you want to move these slitter guides all the way to the outside. And what this does is it makes sure that your new film is able to pass all the way through the machine. If you don't do that step, you're going to cause a jam. So we then move back to the front of the machine. Go ahead and pull your top roll of film over this bar. Let it sit there. Now, the bottom roll has to pass behind this bar. On the newer model, this bar actually comes out, which makes feeding a lot easier. But this is old trusty, so we go ahead and have to pass it through like that carefully. You want to be careful, as these lamination shoes, these heat shoes are going to be hot. You don't want to burn yourself. So you take your film and you're going to line it up to itself. Top roll, bottom roll. And you want to go ahead and match those edges as close as you can to each other and get your new film in squarely. If it's a little bit off, that's alright. The machine will correct it. If it's way off, it can cause a jam. So you want to get it as close as possible. You then go ahead and roll up the rolls a little bit. Put a little tension on there, right on the shoe, and go ahead and get most of those air bubbles out. If you want to get it perfect, you can take a rag and rub it on there, and just go ahead and make sure that the two sheets adhere to each other. That way it doesn't come apart when you're trying to feed it. So you then take your join section, your overlapping region, and you roll that up into the top roll. And that makes sure that you have a nice, clean section of lamination to go ahead and thread through the machine. Make it a little easier. So recap, you've got Your tension screws are still all the way out. Your film is joined together, rolled up to the top. Your lamination rollers are in the open position. And your slitter positioners, your adjustment here, are all the way on the outside. Very important. Then you take a few pieces, we use 3, of this thin chipboard. This is 14 inches long. And this is important because this has to be long enough to pass all the way through the machine. This is 8.5 by 14 thin chipboard that we can provide you if you need some. We use 3 pieces. If you're using something different, just make sure it's not any thicker than 1/10 of an inch. But it does have to be thick enough so it's sturdy enough to pass through the machine without folding. We're ready to go ahead and pass this through now. And we want to go ahead and not pass it at an angle. So go ahead and set this back a little ways here and make sure it's nice and flat as it goes through the machine. Your shoes are still in the open position. Go ahead and push on that in there like so. And to make it easier, give yourself some slack by rolling the rolls back. And as you give yourself slack, you're going to see I can push this through with almost just one finger. This should pass almost all the way through. At a certain point, as it gets past the cutter, you're going to hit a little bit of resistance. Go ahead and just wiggle it on past. And with very light pressure, once you give yourself slack, we're able to go ahead and pass this all the way through the machine. Now this is very important. You want to make sure that chipboard goes all the way in until it has come out the other end. If it doesn't come out the other end, your lamination could be somewhere inside the machine, and that could cause a jam. Once the chipboard is all the way through into the right position, you can go ahead and move your lamination shoes, your heat shoes and lamination rollers into the laminate position, and that allows the rollers to grab it so the machine can pull it through. Again, these are all the way on the outside, these slitter guides, and you can go ahead and if you look inside here, you've got a switch and a button, and you can go ahead and this switch will drive the lamination through the machine. Go ahead and move this here, and then you can see the machine will pull the chipboard and your lamination through. Now at this point, you might have a couple wrinkles in here in the top, especially with a thinner film, and you can go ahead and put a little pressure on this with your hand, and you can also begin to add your tension. You don't add too much tension. You see right here where it starts to move that tab, just add a little bit. Go to the other side, add a little bit, and this will take out the wrinkles. You don't want to put so much tension that because it can cause the lamination to curl. The other thing that's important is you want to make sure that the tension on your rolls is even on the top and the bottom, and you want to be able to feel it just a little bit of drag on that. And then go ahead and keep feeding your lamination through until you get a nice clean section. Your edges are fairly well aligned, and you get a nice clean section in there. If you have any wrinkles still, you want to drive those out. Once you've got all your wrinkles out, go ahead and push this cut button. That'll cut the lamination. You can then go ahead and pull it free. Set it aside. And then back here, set your slitter guide back into whatever position you'd like. Close the cover. Close the cover. And you're done. You are ready to laminate. Thank you for watching.